Hello everybody, it's Sound Eric here, and we have some new cards today, and something pretty exciting. So let's just get right into it. It's Freljord time, which is where we're going to be getting a new champion. Glacial Sorin, a 5 mana 5/5, with it's a reptile. So Nico can run it. Very Freljordian stats. When I'm summoned, grant the top 3 units in your deck +1/+1. If an ally has a different subtype than me, draw one of those units. So this will work in just normal Freljord, honestly. 5 mana, 5/5. It fits in with Omen Hawks and things like that. I think you can, even a Yeti deck if you're doing something along those lines. A bird, 7 mana, 7/7. Oh, look at them Freljordian stats. With Overwhelm. A snowy Razor Claw. Plunder. Grow an ally's stats to mine. That's pretty nice, isn't it? So if you can pull off the plunder, you can make something else a 7/7. You probably want to choose something with Overwhelm, but you could choose something elusive depending on what you're doing there. Something with regeneration. Putting that on Braum. That's not out of the question. Temple to True Ice, 3 mana landmark. When you summon an ally, grow its health to equal its power. Well, okay. Grow its health to equal its power. How often in Freljord do you have things with a higher power than health? This is obviously going to work with uh, more stuff for the LeBlanc Ash Noxus deck. This is going to get seen a lot with Noxus, I think. Yeah, that is gonna it's gonna throw off some curves over there, isn't it? Wow. Okay. That's some bad news. More reason to run landmark removal because that's gonna get you a lot of value. Let's take a look at the next 3 cards. Whoop. We have a Chemtech Catermobile. Tech. Oh, it's P&Z. Huh. A 3 mana 0/4 quick attack. I have +1/+0 for each 1-cost ally you summon this game. Oh. Well, it's showing it with Freljord. So Poros is the first thing that comes to mind, but Von Yip type decks, PNZ and Bilgewater have always had a kind of a 1-cost thing going on. It's not helping your 1-cost though. It is just coming in late game with a high attack for 3 and actually it can grow over time. It's not something that happens on summon. That is an aura effect. Okay, so you can actually just play it on curve and it'll just keep getting higher attack. It does have quick attack instead of overwhelm, but P&Z has access to elusive. So, yeah, I think that's not too bad of an attacker. Uh, you could also possibly try to run it with vulnerable in Shurima if you're doing something with the Sand Soldiers. 2 mana Ingvar the Younger. We have heard a lot about Ingvar actually. Ingvar has been showing up in a lot of flavor texts with things like Warden of the Tribe, so we're finally getting the payoff for that. I was kind of half expecting Ingvar to be the champion, but it's just a 2 mana follower. It's just a little guy, little girl. Pick an ally on play. Grant it and all other allies that share a subtype with it +1/+1, or manifest a follower that shares a subtype with it. Okay. So on curve, this is going to come down and manifest a bird. Like you'll play Omen Hawk, then you'll or Poro, and then this will come in and we'll do that because this isn't buffing everywhere. Which, I mean, it's only 2 mana. So you're either playing this later in the game on a board full of poros or birds. This is actually wanting you to not diversify your subtypes quite as much. You want to have a bunch of things that share a subtype. Dragon Prince Grinzo. That is our first dragon in Bilgewater, I think. And it has a tune. Each round, the first time you summon a 1-cost ally, refill 1 spell mana. Wow, that is actually... Okay. Obviously. Obviously, this can go with, I think, Nami, right? It could even go with things like Fizz. But yeah, that's gonna be a lot of mana generation. Actually, no, it is refilling spell mana, isn't it? This actually kind of works with Jack, doesn't it? Question is, how much 1-cost allies are you running in Jack? This is a dragon. I don't think you're gonna play Bilgewater with any of the other 2 dragon champions anytime soon. Shyvana or Aurelion Sol. So that subtype is only going to matter for things that care about subtypes. Nidalee or Nico also won't be able to grab it because it's a dragon, not like a reptile. Okay. So before we go, quick go over all of them with some final thoughts and where I think they'll go. We have this here, which I thought I saved. Let's see. Yeah, here we go. We have this here. This one was kind of a neat one. The solution, at first I thought I was like, Nidalee, that fits right in there, but Nico's too short to fit into 5. What these are all of the previous hints, all the previous solutions. You put them all in, you get a alphanumeric thing, and we get a spoiler for something coming up next time. And spoilers, go ahead and skip ahead if you want, but that looks like the Poro King to me. You can kind of see its big mustache, the glowing eyes there, and I think what looks like a crown. I think that is actually the Poro King. Is that going to be the next champion? Are we actually getting the Poro King? I know a lot of people have kind of memed about that. Or will this be a follower? I think we got a spoiler for Nidalee, level 2, and for Nico hidden as a Twilight Protector. Or Twilight, I should say. I think that this is actually the next champion, is a Poro. Okay. Let's go over these cards. A Poro champion. Anyway. Glacial. Glacial Saurian. Kind of just generically good. I think it can go into most decks without too much of an issue. 5 mana 5/5 is super solid. It's doing the deck buff thing that, Freljord likes to do. You can go ahead and put more of that kind of thing in your deck. And it's card draw, as long as you're running something, whether you're doing this with elites or if you're doing it, if you have a weapon master out, that curves actually. It could even just be a Omen Hawk. There's plenty of ways to have some subtypes that will come out the turn before this, or could come out in the same turn if you're doing it after turn 5. Then we have the Snowy Razor Claw. Grow the stats to mine. Pretty nice, making something a 7/7. Going to be great on Braum, I think. It's even a buff to Sejuani or to any of the other plunder type champions, like say you're running Gangplank or Misfortune or anything like that. It'll work pretty well on any of those. But the thing to keep in mind is if you're running it in a more pure Freljord deck, it's very possible that your stats are going to be more than 7 for 7. 7, 7, 7. You might actually have gotten some buffs from things like Glacial Sorin, and then suddenly you're getting way more stats. You just want to make sure you put this on an Elusive or an Overwhelm, maybe a Brash, uh, anything like that. Or if you want to be defensive, you put it on something with Regeneration. Temple of True Ice. Boy, howdy, this is a card that will work for Ashe and LeBlanc. Uh, is there anything else that you're going to want to run this with in Freljord? Uh, Not really. You're getting one stat out of doing it with Udyr. You're getting some health out of putting it on Tryndamere, I guess. Other than that, though, the Freljord stats on champions tends to be more oriented towards health. That's kind of the identity of the region. This is essentially letting you turn non-Freljordians into Freljordians. That's what you're getting out of this. You could use this if you're trying to curve things like Ice Veil Archer, Ruthless Raider. Those are some things that have a lot more attack than health. Let's see, is there anything like late game that you're looking for? You're mostly seeing symmetrical stats in the late game stuff in Freljord. So, yeah. This is mostly to put into Freljord to help other regions. And the region that's going to get the most help out of that is definitely Noxus. The next set here, final thoughts. Chemtech Catermobile seems kind of like you're going to run it with maybe Poros, especially, if Poros end up being more of a thing. Maybe you'll see it with Sand Soldiers. But other than that, I don't think you're going to do Evelyn P and Z. So, but I mean, maybe you could, I guess. Ingvar the Younger is going to, I think, mostly be used for card draw, unless it's coming in late game with a full board of one subtype, which is most likely going to happen with Poros. I don't think you're going to see like a Freljordian bird deck or anything. So this is mostly just going to go ahead and help you manifest a follower that shares a subtype and help you kind of just 2 mana draw a card, which is super solid for Freljord, actually. Main problem is you just need to make sure you have a follower that shares a subtype, which in Freljord, in terms of a 1-drop, if you're just trying to curve, you have birds and poros and yetis. You actually have quite a few options there. In fact, speaking of yetis, this could go into a yeti deck. It could actually go into the Lysandra Yeti combo with Freljord and Ionia. I think that's still available in standard because you can actually play a Yeti Yearling into this and possibly get one of those late. You have a pretty good odds of getting an Abominable Guardian or even an Ancient Yeti that'll start ticking down. So I think going with the Yetis might not be too bad. That might be its best place. And in fact, you can actually see a picture of a Yeti in the little book there. Might be a hint. Dragon Prince Grinzo. Yeah, that's going to go in Nami. That's going to go with Fizz. That's going to go with a lot of those kind of go wide 1-drop stuff. It's just helping you kind of do more in a turn. Is there anything in Bilgewater? Yeah, actually, you're the only thing you're lacking there is card draw, but possibly this might go with a Swindler's Den with a bunch of one drop generation. Hmm. Well, either way, things like Double Trouble will refund 2 mana, so there's a lot of uses for this. Once again, I could see it being done in for this one. I could see it maybe being put if you do a Bilgewater or Shadow Isles thing, because you have a couple ways to use spell mana to summon 1/1s. Once again, this could work with Sand Soldiers as well. So a Bilgewater Sand Soldier like 1-drop deck might be on the horizon with things like Dragon Prince. Getting those refunds, making use of Azir could be pretty fun. Might be a good use for him. But that is all the cards for today. Tomorrow we get a new champion, and I think we might know what that champion is. So make sure to leave a like and subscribe so that you don't miss tomorrow's video when we look over the last champion for the new set for Heart of the Huntress. And you guys have a good one. See you next time.